Okay, right. Beginning now. Sorry to keep you guys waiting. So, iNKOGNiiTO here. I just wanted to do another stream just since Space Tellz II came out. I thought it would be cool to do another behind the scenes type of thing, um, and just talk about Space Tellz II, but also talk about Space Tellz as a two-part story. I know in the last stream we kind of just listened to Space Tellz and spoke about how it came together. So I wanted to make this more of a Space Tellz 2 focus, but I feel like we can't really focus in on Space Tellz 2 without laying the foundation again of the beginning of the story, which is Space Tellz. So I thought we could start there. And obviously, like I mentioned, if you haven't heard Space Tellz, it's on all streaming platforms. Both songs are out now, and I'm calling it the Space Tellz Saga because it's there's a whole narrative woven into both of them, and they're part of a story, and they hold two different sides to the story. Um, so before Jericho comes in, I just thought I'd um, just say about how Space Tellz, basically the idea of it came to me when I was in Berlin last year. I was there for like a week, and I like had an idea of a song called Space Tellz, but I didn't exactly know what I wanted it to sound like. And it was the first time in June last year that the tune came to me, and it was just one tune, which is the main Space Tellz chorus, um, and I couldn't get it out of my head. And then since the end of last year, me and Jericho were working on it. And from, I'd say, April, we it started to feel like there was more to the story, at least for me. And I started sharing that with Jericho. And basically from there, it started to dawn on us that Space Tellz, there should be a Space Tellz too. Um, so when I brought it up with Jericho, we were like, hey, this could be cool. There could be a continuation to this story. And when we started talking about it, things started to flow idea wise and creatively. And it just started to come together in a really cool way. And I just feel like moments like this, they can be really cool to share. So I wanted to be able to share a bit of that with you. Um, and kind of, yeah, bring out how Space Tellz 2 came into existence. So I just want to make sure before I go into it that my audio's all good. Um, just anyone watching, just put a thumbs up if you can hear everything okay. And if you can, I'll do the same when I bring Jericho in, just to make sure everything's all good. Okay, okay, cool. Looking good. Thanks for that. Yeah, so let's bring in Jericho. Drum roll. Side note, this is the second time we're like seeing each other in person. We've never met in real life before. We only make music together on video calls. So when I'm talking about the process, I'm literally like, just imagine you're on a screen looking at like software. That is how our partnership works. Jericho.
Hello.
Hello
Um,
again.
yeah, I guess I should start by introducing myself to the peoples.
Yeah,
My
let's
name
do it.
is Jericho. I am producer, audio engineer based out of Baltimore. So if you Baltimore baby. And I worked with iNKOGNiiTO on Space Tellz 1 and 2. Um, so I guess we could talk more about, just how the idea came together. I mean, we did one stream about Space Tellz 1, and that was more of a ambient song with a kind of like this touching story. And then I love concepts a lot, so you came to me with the concept. You were like, what if we made Space Tellz 2, something something along those lines, what if we made like a Space Tellz II? And I was like, yeah, that would be cool. Um, I don't know how deep to get into like this, but
Yeah,
like,
I'll show the shall I go my side first and then you can jump off what I say?
yeah,
Of because it started for me, Space Tellz 2. When we spoke about it, I was like, oh, maybe there could be a Space Tellz 2. I wrote a poem and I remember having this idea of like, because Space Tellz is in B minor key. I really liked the idea of having the following song be in B minor harmonic. And basically, by B minor harmonic, the sound of it is more. It adds this gloom. Like if you know a harmonic chord, I wish I could play one right now, but you can Google one if you want. But the difference between it is it adds these, I think, sharp notes, which adds this like, twingy feel. It adds this like feeling of despair, feeling of gloom, and I really liked the idea of like the idea of musically showing how the story was expanding, having it in B minor harmonic. So I had this poem written. But yeah, before I show it, maybe I want to introduce myself properly as well. I'm iNKOGNiiTO. I'm a music artist. And me and Jericho have been making music together for like a year and a half now. And yeah, iNKOGNiiTO has a concept behind the music. And yeah, maybe I'll be sharing more of that soon. Um, but yeah, that's a bit about me. Um, and yeah, the poem is basically here. So this is what started. Um, and you can see at the top where it says 9th of April 2023. That's literally when I wrote it at like 2 a.m. in the morning. That's just a normal awake time for me. That's just that's just the just about winding down time. Yeah. So you can see where I put the slashes as well. That's when I'm trying to figure out between two lines, which is I write a lot. I used to write a lot like physically physical writing in like notebooks and stuff. And then I kind of went off it and then I write a lot of my stuff now just on notes on my phone. Which I feel like a lot of people do, and that's kind of how I write a lot of stuff. And sometimes with songs, like I'll write something intentionally as a song, and then other times it will be a poem, and then I'll be like, oh, I kind of want to make this into a song. And this was an example where it started as a poem. Um, and when I wrote the poem, I was like, oh, I think I want this to be Space Tellz II. And you can see at the bottom, I put in brackets B minor harmonic because I was like, yeah, this is gonna be sick in B minor harmonic. The chord. Um, so yeah, I'll just read it through as well. I'd bet on infinity. Yeah, I also couldn't spell infinity. I only recently found out in the last couple of months how infinity is actually spelled. So where it says infinite, I'm like, oh, that's meant to be infinity. Just a side note. I'd bet on infinity I'd never make it out alive. I didn't ever want to wait. I didn't ever want to stay. Wasting my life away. Wasting my life away. It's getting too dark during this time. Too late to rewind. No words, no lifeline. Space. The epitome is the cause. Never knew for sure. The agony is yours. All my pain was your applause. And that was it. And I don't think I showed you those lyrics yet, Jericho. I feel like before adding the lyrics, when I was like
mhm.
to you, oh, Space Tellz 2, there was one day where we decided, oh, let's do it then. Let's try out Space Tellz 2. And we
Right.
started sampling stuff.
Yeah. Like I wanted to talk about it
It
a
went
little
like
bit
that,
from
right?
yeah, from my perspective, because you had the lyrics, but I didn't see the lyrics like at all.
Yeah.
Um, and then like I mean, the concept of Space Tellz II was talked about I think it was like, maybe a couple months before Space Tellz was finished. So that idea was
Yeah.
like always in the back of our minds. And then I really didn't like we didn't get the structure down for Space Tellz 2 until we had like all those, well, we took from, Space Tellz 1, we took those effects, which were like those were like the last couple effects that were added during the production process for the original Space Tellz, different
Mhm.
story. But so like it was towards the ending of that Space Tellz where we had like, okay, we were gonna like use this sample in Space Tellz 2. So I thought that was like a really cool and interesting way to like start out that story. And
Mhm.
to me, Space Tellz 2 feels like you're crash landing back on Earth. Like you're like this comet and you're like crashing down. Um, as you'll hear like in the song when we get through everything, you'll hear like the beginning sounds like, yeah, you're crashing down. And I just thought that that was a cool concept, um, versus like having Space Tellz 2 being, I mean, Space Tellz 1 being more ambient and like
Mhm.
feels like you're lifting up into space
Yeah,
instead.
it's literally like into the beyond.
Right. Nowhere to be found.
Mhm. And I think as like a two-part story as well. I feel like I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like in the experience for both of us, like there was a massive experimental process of like song structure for both Space Tellz and Space Tellz 2. Um, which was really cool. Like that was one of our like connecting points when we first met online. And like I remember talking to you and being um like when you listen to songs with conventional structures, does it always make you do you always think about different ways to make structure? And you were like, yes. And I was like, yeah, me too. And it was like both of us like to hear unconventional ways of making stuff and like
Yeah.
redirecting the idea of how a song structure should be.
Yeah.
Um, and not necessarily even in a way of like changing music, but just because you just feel like it, and that's just
Right.
cool as it is. Um, and that was Space Tellz, and Space Tellz 2 is like a good example of that in both ways. Of like Space Tellz 1 being
Yeah.
longer, the structure is so like it's like a meeting point up till the main chorus. But then Space Tellz 2 is like this come down but also manic distortion that ends on like a inconclusive note. Um,
Right.
and both like I feel like Space Tellz 2 could have been an interlude if it was on an album or something, but I liked how it was a short end to a longer previous song.
Yeah, short and sweet. And you get mixed up in everything in between. So
Mm,
I really liked it for that and like just commenting on the unconventional structure of it. Um, I like we both enjoyed putting that together. Um, I didn't know where it was going to go, but like during um one of our first sessions for Space Tellz 2, we were kind of we were at, we were doing two things at once actually.
mm.
So we were
What are we doing? I can't remember.
okay, we were finding sounds for Space Tellz 2, and I think that's the session where we found like the bass, okay? And then we made a song on the side. We made an entire beat on the side that was like separate from like Space
Wait,
Tellz 2.
wait, is it something that might be released?
No, I mean, it was
Just
just
a
like an
separate beat.
improv. Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Because I started going through sounds in the Arturia Lab 5, and then we got like sucked into creating a whole different beat.
Yeah, there
Like,
was a lot of those phases like during
so,
that time of just
yeah.
random like making on the side.
So that was, yeah,
The
that was
side
pretty
what
funny.
is.
So one of the first sounds there was like that ripping bass that you hear that I
Hmm.
feel like
Yeah,
adds
that
much
was such a big
emotion.
moment for me
Yeah.
as well.
Hmm. Like, how did it make you feel when you like heard it in context?
It was just so cool because I remember like I whenever I write stuff like from my point of view when I'm bringing it to you, I have an idea already in mind, but sometimes the idea in my head I am aware is limiting because I don't want it to feel like that. But it's just obviously some when you're writing something, there's something in your head already determined, and sometimes you want to follow that, and sometimes it's just there, and you don't necessarily want to, but it's just there. And I was just like, I had this idea, but it felt much more like spoken wordy, but I didn't really want that. But I also didn't know like what I did want. And I remember when
Hmm.
you like pulled in the like T T T T T T and there's a home, no other place I can go, place I can go. And then when you that
Yeah.
bass, like it I'm pretty sure like my skull ripped in half and like I suddenly
Hmm.
understood like what to be human meant. Like I was just like, what the
That
hell?
big.
This is crazy. Like it was it was such a cool moment because I just I hadn't ha- I love I love the feeling of basses like whenever you're in a space and like you feel the bass in your chest, that's like one of my favorite feelings. And when I heard that bass I was like, ooh, like this is like this is cutting space in space, like this is so sick. It was such a cool
Yeah,
feeling, yeah, for sure.
I love like a good, nice and thick bass. And I
Hmm.
feel like that's something that kind of like continues to define our production. Like
Hmm.
for example, in like an incubator, then that bass comes in and like towards the end, like you can feel it. So I like being able to have people feel the bass and like feel the emotion in the bass, which I
Yeah.
think happens well in Space Tellz II.
Hmm. Is there a way we can show it if I screen share it? Or even you could play it from your speaker.
I can.
I'm not gonna
Can you
screen share it,
hear?
but I'll.
Okay. Okay, so I can just like go through, some of the different
Yeah,
places,
let's
you
start with the
know.
bass. Let me see if I can share the screen.
Start with the bass. Bass first, man.
Bass
Cause
first.
about that bass, no trouble. That's my theme song, kind of. Like once I get a subwoofer, it is over. I will become the bass god.
Okay, it's
Oh, yeah.
it's showing the screen.
Yeah, okay. So,
Dude, it's like the stream is like lagging behind, and I'm just rewatching you sing about that bass. I'm like, why are you singing that?
um, I'm here. I'm just turning this down.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay. So, here is, you know, oh snap, my speakers aren't on, sorry. Can you hear that okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's like a really, really gritty type of bass. Hopefully, you can see this plugin when it comes up. Oh, no, you can't. Okay, but it's from Arturia.
Oh wait, you can't hear it on the actual stream.
Can you,
Can
you
you?
can't hear me play this?
I can't hear the bass on the screen share. Not on the screen share, but on the screen on the stream.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to. But I'm playing it from out my speakers.
Yeah. No, that's okay. Oh, you
Okay.
can wait. I heard it the second time, yeah.
Oh, there's just
You
like
just want to
mad
keep
lag.
it really close, I think. But we're
All
only
right,
um
I'm just turning it up.
we'll
My neighbor's
listen to
mad loud.
the both songs at the end. So this is just for reference of the actual stream. of the actual making of the song
Yeah, so that was the bass.
for anyone listening.
So as you can, you feel it, like it's really gritty, crunchy. Um, there wasn't like too much I did to it effects wise. I just added some EQ and compression. Um, had a multi-band compressor on there because it was pretty strong. It was heavy, so I had to like tame it a bit. Um, then we have like this pad ambience type of sound here that really added to the atmosphere. You can see it's like going through the entire song. Also on here, what did I use? I use Analog Lab as well. So this is an Arturia heavy project. After that, we have just something else to give like the atmosphere texture. So if we hear those together, I really like this part. It has like this sweeping feel to it that really moves the story forward. And then we have like some more,
Hmm, I love that.
another layer for texture, and another one. So all that together sounds really beautiful. Um, and then let me move on here. So as far as for production, that's the first part of it. Um, then we have some vocals here that start out like you can see. That's why I said it sounds like you're shooting Comet down. So we had like these vocals here that we panned out and then added some reverb here, not doing too much, just some EQ and compression, and then a phaser on there to have that signal be a bit wider. So we have like a whole stack, and then we have these TTTs that are continuing through,
And that's the
and then
part that's sampled from Space Tellz.
yeah, yep. So this is the sample that we brought in from Space Tellz, and then we chopped it up and stuff. Did some fun things to it. With like these effects, had an auto filter going crazy. What else I have on
So
here?
a side note as well, the TTTs are from, for anyone if they're like why the hell is there just TTTs, like what is that? It's in both songs I'm saying to infinity, and that's what it's sampled from. The TTTs is from to infinity, to infinity, to infinity, to infinity, to infinity, to. So that's kind of why they're there.
Facts. Little breakdown. And then here we got the main vocal. So obviously, we juiced it up with some auto tune and then some compression, some saturation, and this just has like a much bigger feel to it. Sent this to some reverb to have it sound like much bigger because it's the only vocal that is there along with the TTT. Okay, and then we also have another sample from our Space Tellz session, which is like this really beautiful.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
It crashes. It like builds up into this crash that I just love so freaking much. So I'm gonna start it from like right here, and then we get into the second part. So yeah, and then we get into the second part here where all hell just breaks loose, and we have like these are Nito's guitars that they played, and they're paired up with some of these digital guitars here,
Hmm.
and it just creates this like epic freaking soundscape. As you can hear, like
And
the
the electric guitars as well that Jericho's on right now. Um, they that's when the B minor harmonic comes in. So harmonic.
Mhm.
So that's when all the notes that are being played by the electric guitar are all B minor harmonic chords, B minor harmonic notes. So this is the element that makes it harmonic in the song, and it's
Right.
the most chaotic moment of the song where everything's just layering on each other, colliding into each other, spiraling into oblivion. All the good stuff. All the good stuff.
Yeah. So these are what the guitars are doing by themselves. There's a few guitars here with like some slight delay on them. Not too much done in terms of effects. And then in context, and then we have another thing that we also brought in from Space Tellz, which is this kind of
Hmm.
synthy chord here, and
And
then we
that's where the
took that
Space Tellz chords. Sorry to speak over you. That's where the Space Tellz chords come in as well. Like this is the only moment where the chords from Space Tellz One are put in here as well.
right, and then we continue to layer that, and then our main focus here is this last vocal, which I thought was like really interesting, and we did um we did quite a bit to it in terms of effects to get it to where we want it to be.
Hmm.
So has like this retro roboticness to it. I believe you used Volca on there.
Um, the vocals before have Volico on, which is like auto tune plugin, and then these ones don't have any auto tune on,
And no autotune on here.
bringing out the more of the rawness.
Yeah. So, we got a reverb on there, another like flavored reverb. We added some erosion, which kind of like gave it more like grittiness to that. And then we
Hmm.
had like a vocoder that was added to that to like even up that effect more. And then we have like a vector delay that's, you know, doing its thing there.
Yeah, I remember it took us some time to like get this right.
Yeah, right. So as you can see, yeah, there's a whole audio effect rack there, and after that, added some compression, bit of saturation to pop it out, and then we this is the special sauce for what you're gonna hear at the end. Some sound effects. And then watch this go. Okay, there's something slight missing there, but
No, it's not missing. I think it's just the muted stuff from when we were sorting out the performance mix. The thing muted above, I think, is the, or is it not? It was just taken out. Oh,
okay. So that's back there now. That auto filter was basically just kind of sweeping out that last part, so it sounds like a like what do you call it? Like I don't want to say light switch, but that's the only thing on my head right now.
Which thing?
Like we're right at the end here. No
Yeah,
more. Phew.
it's like an old school TV being turned off, like that,
Yeah, yeah. So
like
the
a
old
shutdown.
TV turn off effect. So that was achieved just using, an auto filter, and then yeah, some of these effects that we got, and then we messed with the glitch plugin, and then it was affected a little bit more with delay and whatnot. But I think that was like such a perfect end to it.
Hmm.
Really love how it just skated out like that. But that is the production for Space Tellz II.
Hmm.
You know?
What I love as well is like because there's a lot of like gritty moments in the song, and the things that
Mhm.
like bring it back to space are like how sound effect the we use the sound effects and stuff like the glitchy ones, or the can we play the R2D3 one? That's like one of my favorite ones.
R2D2.
Yeah. What it's called R2D3, right?
Let me look. This is also an analog lab. I think pretty much this whole section is. It's actually called Invaders.
Oh, okay.
That was
R2D3
from
is
Mass
a different one.
Effect.
Yeah. Invaders. I love it.
That added like a little pizzazz. That was panned out. Just sounds like super alien.
That's actually the sound that's running through my brain 24/7 when I leave the
Dang.
house.
No, that's lovely.
That's lovely.
That's an awesome sound to hear every day.
Yeah, you know,
Oh
just a
yeah.
little bit dead
So
inside.
there was like a lot of cool different Easter eggs in here, like that sound.
Hmm.
And then these,
What's
which I
Jericho?
mean, I
What's
guess
your
you.
favorite sound, or like one of your favorite sounds?
Oh, I really love the end here. We
Hmm.
were like, ew, 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 ew. I love that part so much because
Hmm.
I love like when things sound glitchy.
Yeah,
So
so good.
like doing that and then having it, I just feel like at the end is like perfect because it skates out. Whew, 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 whew.
Almost
Yeah,
into the
really
space towel.
fun.
Yeah,
Space Tellz.
yeah, cool. It's great to be able to share some of the little elements and just,
Mhm.
add some depth when we hear it all together at the very end.
Yeah. So that's how it came to be. Um, inspiration was drawn from Space Tellz. It's just lovely. And then that bass, like, come on. What would we do without that bass?
What would we do? Can we
Find a
also just
different
stop
sound.
to appreciate Jericho's color coordination here? What Jericho, what is your thought process behind the color coordination?
I'm dead. I mean, honestly, you always going to see the vocals are going to be green. Everything else is kind of like straight shots. But the vocals are like this color green, this neon green. Um, I tried. There was no drums in this song.
Hmm.
There was no drums in this song. Um, so which is like pretty interesting too in itself.
Hmm.
But my drums would be orange, and yeah,
Cool, okay.
yep.
Nice.
I just try to choose pretty colors.
Should we move back over to the regular?
Yes,
Regular.
yes.
All right, you're back in. That was so cool
Okay.
though to be able to see that. properly to
Yeah,
be able to share it.
it was so fun to share that because it adds like another piece to like this whole entire thing. And it's like nice when we get to like just see it and like explain it, like our thought process and whatnot.
Hmm. Just open a whole other dimension to the creation process.
The whole portal.
Hmm. Yeah.
So speakers down before I blow out my ears. But yeah, that was dope. I hope you guys in the chat liked seeing that process and seeing
Hmm.
us talk about it because
Yeah.
it was fun to make and fun to put together, and we got another beat out of it. So
Hmm. Yeah. Like if you want to see more of these as well. Oh, this is my cat, by the
yeah,
way.
hello. Oh my gosh. Oh, they
She's
don't want to be in the camera.
she just wanted one moment of attention, and
Oh, she was
then
like,
she
okay,
scurries.
let me just put my face out there.
Yeah, that
Let the
is my
peeps
cat.
see me.
Um, yeah, like I guess like in terms of Space Tellz II, what does it mean to you as part of a two-part story from the
Right.
producer's perspective?
Um, Space Tells. I'll start like with Space Tellz one first. During that process, I felt like it was about capturing this like really this really deep emotion. And I remember you sending me the all those different words from the obscure dictionary, and like I really took that into account when I started the production process. So I wanted it to feel as immersive as it could. And then going on to Space Tellz 2, I wanted that to feel like a crash land, like you are just you were like in one space and then now you're moving into another space but rapidly. So um
Yeah, cool.
using like gritty sounds, and then um I lost the word for it, but having different sounds that are different from it. It's like softer sounds around that kind of, it gave me that feeling. It reminded me of like concrete brutalism architecture, but like the one that has greenery all around it.
Mhm.
So it like it looks hard but still soft, you know. So that was how I thought about going into that, and then just having it sound like a continuation, which we got from using the samples in a unique way.
I think I've got a good visual for what you're talking about. But yeah, feel free to keep talking. I want to see if I can find it.
It's gonna be like a whirlhole, but yeah, just I really can't like I guess juxtapose was the word I was looking for, like
Yeah,
juxtaposing the
that's what came to my head as well. Like
those
juxtaposing
harder
those
elements.
sounds with the
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
still keeping like that emotion and mood from Space Tells, and then bringing it into Space Tellz 2,
Mhm.
but with the story that you were, trying to tell there, making it sound. I guess like the most challenging thing for a producer is like making continuations like this, but I felt like it was pretty easy because they weren't like too far off from
I
each
can't find
other.
it.
They were still in that same world, but like I said, one
Yeah,
was like going up into space and then one was like crashing down from space.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
I
the part
remember you kept saying that consistently through making it as well. Like Space Tales is like this, and then it's like Space Tales 2. Yeah, it's a good visual.
I
Um,
bet on infinity I'll never make it out alive. Like especially like that line.
mhm.
Like it's like if I were to like visually represent it, it's like you crash down and like you're coming out of like sand, like you just have like a whole bunch of dirt on you, like you're
Yeah,
dragging
yeah.
up, you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. When do you think like we when did you know it was finished? Because I feel like that's different process points for that for both of us.
Hmm. Um, I say like I knew it was finished when we had nailed that last vocal and like really got those effects down.
Hmm.
Because like
Yeah.
that was more one of the
Okay.
challenge one of the most challenging parts, I guess, because it was like a different it was different from how the rest of the vocals were mixed way before that.
Hmm.
Um, so like a lot of attention had to be paid to it and like the atmosphere around it. What do you think?
Yeah, I think for me, knowing when Space Tellz 2 was done was, I think, literally at the end of the song, how we were able to conclude that with the effects on the vocals in a way that felt like a technical conclusion. So like the TV off sound I did and the
Mhm.
it glitching out, like technically, objectively, that feels like an ending, like fizzling out and it's just ended.
Mhm.
But the lyrics are much more inconclusive, and that's how the song feels to me. And the last chord on the song as well is a I can't remember what the note is, but it's not a conclusive note. So it ends really ambiguously because actually
Yeah.
the way the feeling I had when actually writing this was such an ambiguous feeling, like a very specific situation and feeling, but like things that I still feel ambiguous feelings from now. And so it felt really true to the song to have an ambiguous end, but it's also conclusive at the same time. In like you get to choose your ending, you get to choose the closure point, but sometimes you do still hold those feelings of ambiguity and uncertainty at the same time. So I think when we were able to nail the objective and technical conclusion, I think that's when it felt like it was done for me, and I was like, cool.
Nice, nice. So there might be a Space Tales 3.
You know, there's always an opportunity.
Maybe. Stay tuned.
You know, if you want to fund Jericho's trip to the UK, please find
Yeah.
funding
You know,
here.
link in the bio.
Yeah.
I need to start a GoFundMe.
Yeah. Anyone that wants to donate will be much, much appreciated.
Donate.
So you can create music in real time.
Yeah. Because the amount of technical, like, it's so difficult to create online sometimes because,
Hmm.
like, in my experience, sometimes, there can be so many different technical issues and, like, people can be inconsistent and, like, it's just much harder to, like, say your ideas and really describe and like write them out in a way because we're
Hmm.
not always just able to like hop on a call like now or like on the weekend. So a lot of our communication is done through texting.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
being an artist and trying to get
Thank you,
your very
Discord.
complex idea
Yeah.
out is pretty challenging.
Hmm.
Just like writing it and not like being in that creative environment.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd say the positives though as well is like we're able to go in our own space and create in our own ways, and then like be very like individual in our collaboration process. Like, I'll give something to you, you convert it, bring something back, and we're able to go in our own spaces at the same time as working together.
Hmm.
But it's like 10 times slower.
Yeah,
It's like much slower.
literally and figuratively.
Yeah, yeah. Which is which makes things harder. But it's been an interesting experience. Like this is normal to me. So it's like I'm like,
Right.
yeah,
Like I'm just used to it, you know.
pretty much now. It's like let's get to
It's
it.
just a flow at this
We know what
point.
we're expecting. Yeah, bring it on.
Bring it on.
So I guess it's now's a good time to start going into listening to both songs now that you know anyone listening now knows the two-part story a bit more and how it came together. Um, I just wanted to ask if there's anything you have coming up or if there's anything you want to say or share right now that is related to anything you're
Oh.
doing. You are. Here are our socials, by the way. Oh, let me move that. Boom.
Yes.
So when I write socials, I just mean Insta, but sometimes I forget that other things can involve socials. Like,
Yeah. I only have Insta and TikTok, but I barely use it.
yeah,
Um, Fund my UK trip, dude. Like people out there,
it's gotta
if you
happen.
care about us making more music and you were touched by Space Tellz or Space Tellz II, you know, pay it forward, dude. Like you can hear more of this, okay? Just just you could $1 a day. That's all it takes.
We would make so much more music as well. Like if we had a
Yeah.
day in the same studio, at least 20 songs. Like
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident on that. Maybe not
Oh
finished,
wow.
but like
Boom boom boom.
yeah, that's what's
Yeah.
happening.
But on a more serious note, things I'm working on. Wait till next year. Like by next year, early next year, I will have a Spotify. Okay. I will
Ooh,
have a Spotify account, okay? And then possibly YouTube. That's in the works. Definitely. And
cool.
then more music. And I might be like doing some film stuff this time around, so watch out for that too.
Cool. That's and the one below at Jericho Designs is Jericho's Insta. It's Jericho underscore, not Jericho dash. See,
Jericho
I
dash
know. Jericho underscore designs. And then me, I forgot to say, but I'm based in North London. London, if anyone outside of the UK
dash.
is watching this. But yeah, and then I'm at iNKOGNiiTO on Insta. The O's are zeros. INK 0 GNIIT 0. Um, yeah, and um, early next week, just look out for something early next week. But you can see it on my Insta if you want to check it out. But it's gonna be showing up on my website. So I've got a few things coming out related to that where you can see a bit more behind the scenes of iNKOGNiiTO and who iNKOGNiiTO actually is, and you can just get to know the concept a bit better. Um, and then yeah, more music. Like me and Jericho making more music, and then I have some other people I make music with that I'm just looking forward to being able to share more about the other music I've made as well when that happens. Um, and yeah, when Jericho comes to the UK.
$1 a day. That's all it.
Oh my god, imagine just just message Jericho on Insta
Yeah,
if
DM
you
me,
want
dude.
to do that. But yeah,
It would be
just
greatly
look
appreciated.
out. Um but yeah, thanks. Thanks for this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with us. Just like if you want to see more of these cuz I find them pretty fun. Like it's just cool
Yeah.
to just talk about how we do whatever we do. Um and yeah, we're making stuff all the time, and we've just always got like cool moments that happen because of the way that we make. That it's always on online calls, so it's cool to be able to share it with anyone that is into stuff, that into the same stuff that we are, or into the stuff that we're doing as well. Um, yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
We'll catch you another time, and
Peace out.
yeah, peace out. Let's go into space time.
Deuces. Real gangster.
Think about my dreams in the past tense, and that every time I speak is the last vent. Always felt like a wrong time for a department. Was it my gut that I should have always followed them? Guarded and emotionally distant. Space Tellz I was lonely to begin with. Left out and I'm missing all the pieces. The pieces. In a conflict, a contradiction. Other factors, science fiction. Never existed to begin with dereliction. Spaced out, but I seem to be the deception. Spaced out, spaced out, spaced out, spaced out, spaced out. And I don't know what I was even feeling from the start, but I'm wondering if space can tell the differences apart. Crossline crates tearing me apart. Feel like I'm be feeling in the dark. I've been so alone, have you known I'm in the back row from the slideshow? But I'm always changing low, like remote controls, sitting between different timelines and time zones. Seeing old lives through different windows. New slick, I moved quick from a smooth hit. I always picked apart with a toothpick. It's a fine line and I'm sensitive to the movement. Lose it till I lose it, I lose it.
Until space showed me time.
Space Tellz, I'm pulling the seams on my own intervention. I don't know where I've been. I turned the lights out lately, cause I've been so gone lately. And in the stream that I'm in, I don't know where I'm headed. Space Tellz, I'm pulling the seams on my own independence from the loss of my dreams. I turned the lights out lately, cause I've been so gone lately. And if I'm losing my dreams, I don't know. Locked out, but I love you to infinity. Spaced out, but I love you to infinity. Dropped out, but I love you to infinity. No other place I can go to infinity. Locked out, but I love you to infinity. Spaced out, but I love you to infinity. Dropped out, but I love you to infinity. No other place I can go to infinity. getting too dark during this time. Too late to rewind. No words, no life left. Bitterness the cause, never knew for sure, but the agony is yours, when my pain is your applause. And I feel like breaking more, could all this before, the solution's still raw, under surveillance, slow.